First we had Jaime Munguia, then we had Ed Berlanga. But the first guy that really criticized Canelo's punching power was Triple G. He says he remembered that punch, I let it go through. I don't know what to call it. It wasn't hard, it felt kind of a slap sliding punch. And according to Triple G, that punch did not do too much damage. And of course, Triple G is still sour on the first fight with Canelo. He believes the first fight wasn't a draw, and I had Triple G winning the first fight as well. And also, he thinks Canelo is a dirty fighter because Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol. With that being said, even though Triple G thought Canelo was a dirty fighter, he kept taking those rematches, did he? That's how good the Canelo money is. I remember them asking Triple G after the first fight, does he want to fight Canelo again since he tested positive for clenbuterol? And what was Triple G's answer? Yes. Triple G says Canelo wasn't even a hard puncher at 160. But then again, we got to look at Triple G having one of the best chins in boxing. I did see Canelo hurt him to the body in the second fight. And I also saw Derevchenko in that war. And that was one of the best fights I've seen. That was a war. And Derevchenko was killing Triple G to the body. He could not finish him. Some people would argue that Derevchenko won that fight. That was a very close fight, in my opinion. Now, Canelo may not be the hardest puncher in the world, but nobody's running in. No Jermell Charlo, no Berlanga, no Jaime Munguia. After Munguia got knocked down with that uppercut, he did not rush in anymore. He's more cautious than he was in the beginning of the fight. So maybe he doesn't punch the hardest. He's not the hardest puncher in the world, but he punches hard enough to get respect, especially at 168. And if Triple G is comparing Canelo's punch to a slap, I know a lot of fighters in boxing would want that kind of slap. Also, if Triple G really thought it was just a slap, he would have been more aggressive. If he was more aggressive in the first fight, it would have been no question he would have won and got the decision, or maybe a stoppage. But obviously, it was something holding him back for going all out like he did previous opponents. He fought Canelo very cautious, sort of like Madrimov fight Terence Crawford. I've seen Madrimov in a half a dozen of fights, and he did not fight the same way how he fought against Terence Crawford. And the same thing with Triple G. He was very tentative in the first fight, even though I thought he won. There are 2 fights I saw Triple G in, well, 3 fights I saw Triple G in, and he looked normal. It was Canelo, Danny Jacobs, and Derevchenko. Other fights, he just steamrolled over opponents. Triple G looked like a monster. But those 3 fights right there, and I guess it's the level of competition, but he did not look the same as he did in prior fights. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Triple G saying that Canelo's punch is like a slap? Jay Beezy, I'm gone.